Wesley Ertl, Fisheries Development Project Supervisor for the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Today we're standing on the west shore of Horsehead Lake, located in Kidder County, just south of Robinson. So depending on how you lump some of these lake complexes, Horsehead Lake is the third largest natural lake in the state. Just to give you a little bit of history on this site itself, back in 2022, we received an easement from the State Land Department for this parcel of ground. To give you a little information on the lake itself, Horsehead Lake's kind of shaped like a soup bowl, where the shorelines are really flat and you have to get out quite a ways to get to some deeper water. Initially, we installed a slide-in steel ramp here, and that just helps us chase the water levels. As it rises and recedes, we can push and pull that ramp in and out. Another aspect of Horsehead Lake is the substrate is really sandy, and with this lake being so large and there being a lot of fetch, whenever we get a high wind event, that substrate just kind of rolls along the shoreline, and we've had a lot of maintenance issues with siltation on this ramp. So the decision was made to build the peninsula out away from the shoreline, and then actually upgrade the ramp from the slide into a poured concrete ramp. And this should alleviate a lot of our siltation problems going forward. So a few weeks ago, we came in here and started this project. The first step was to build that peninsula out into the water away from the shore. Brought some clay in. Once we got that placed, we armor plated that clay, and then we'll bring a long stick in with some rock and prepare that bed at a 13% slope. Once that bed's prepared, we'll go ahead and pour a slab up above, 70 feet long this one is. Once that slab is cured out in about 10 days, in a few moments here we'll bring a dozer in, we'll push that slab out onto that prepared bed, and then we'll leave about 5 feet of that slab hanging out of the water. From there, we'll go ahead and set our above water bed in line and match that up with the percent we got grade in the water to the above. We'll epoxy dull into that slab and pour a second slab that stays stationary. Depending on some weather and things, these things usually take between about 4 to 5 weeks to construct. Sometimes, depending on the topography, we actually have to pour 3 pours and then push twice. Another improvement here we made at Horsehead Lake is we upgraded the entrance road off the township road into the area. Before, it was just a 2-track dirt trail down the middle of a section line. We built that up now, and we got shoulders, a ditch, and got it gravelled, so it should make it a lot easier getting in and out of this site. Yeah, so Horsehead Lake has really taken off over the past few years. Historically, it's been more of a pike fishery, but in the last, 5 to 6 years, it's been stocked with walleye, and they've really taken off, and they're really good catchable size right now, and it's a hot spot that everybody wants to get into. So the parcel that we're standing on right now is actually owned by the state land department. So we worked down an easement with them. We got a 25-year easement with them to build this site, provide access, and then if something should happen to this lake, let's say we go into a drought or something and the water recedes way back and we lose the fishery, we would just come back in at that point and reclaim the area for them. So yeah, we cover the entire state, all 4 corners, everything in between. So that covers, I think, about 430 active fisheries right now. We got about 350 ramps across the state. The construction and maintenance of 400 docks, 160 fishing piers. We work building fish cleaning stations, do a lot of rock riprapping when it comes to, some of our facilities getting eroded by wind action, a lot of roads, parking lots, and then also do some signing and then some fencing and cattle guard installs to keep livestock out of these access areas. Yeah, so at the end of the day, we're just trying to improve the access for the angler, the easiest way for them to get their boat onto the lake and catch some fish. So currently we have 3 ramps under different phases of construction going on. This one here at Horsehead, we got one at Stober Lake up in Sheridan County, and then another one over at Middle Eccleston between Valley City and Jamestown. We usually construct about 8 to 12 of these ramps a year. Most of them are the pour and push method that you see here. We also use a slide-in steel ramp section, and then also a primitive, just a rock gravel bed. The latter of the 2 are more for areas, maybe fisheries that haven't sustained themselves over the years, maybe a little bit more prone to winter kill, or on on areas where our easement isn't long enough to justify the costs that are associated with the concrete. So honestly, the actual construction phase, the 4 to 5 week window that it takes us to construct these ramps, is actually the quickest part. Most of the legwork happens long before that. In the winter months, there's kind of a set of steps that we got to go through. The first is obviously identifying a fishery that's sustainable over time, and that justifies the costs associated with boating access. Or once we have that lake established, we need to find a site on that lake. We need the proper slope. Usually it's in that 11 to 15% slope in the water, and then the topography up above allows for some parking. Also, a major factor is the proximity to a road. Roads are very expensive to construct, so we try to keep them as close as we can to existing roads. Once that's established, the next thing is securing an easement for that parcel of land. And since North Dakota is 93% privately owned, this can be the most difficult part. So you might have a great site with great slope, topography, with a bunch of parking right next to a township road, but the landowner just isn't willing to work with you. On the other hand, you might have a landowner that's willing to bend over backwards for you, accommodate you in any way possible, but we just don't have the depth, or the road, maybe the existing road is a couple miles away. So there's just a few things that have to fall into place there. Next, after that, it's a permitting thing. So we got to get permits from the State Corps of Engineers, from the State Water Commission. We need some clearance from the State Historical Society. Once those are all in place, then it's finding a local entity to take care of that operation and maintenance of that facility after the initial construction phase. This is probably one of the most important parts. We rely on these local entities very heavily, whether it be a wildlife club, maybe a city park board, a county park board, a water resource district, or maybe even just a local farmer or rancher. These entities are the backbone of our boating access program, and without them, we would not be able to put all these facilities on the landscape.